Are you prepared for what's coming? Let's check it out. Hello, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a campfire chat. Thanks for taking the time out to click on the video and checking the channel out. Now today's video is all about what's around the corner and are you prepared for it. Now here in Wales it's already mid-September and we've already had our first frost of the year, and we're saying that winter is just around the corner, isn't it? So whether you live in a mild climate or you live in an area which is freezing temperatures and you have a good dumping of snow every winter, it always pays well to be prepared. So today's video, this campfire chat, there's no whiskey or chocolate this time.
Wait, what did you say?
I'm off the chocolate. I'm on a bit of a carnivore diet sort of thing, or animal-based diet. So no sweets, no chocolate, no carbs, nothing for me at the moment.
That sounds
boring.
So yeah, no whiskey or hot chocolate tonight. So we're just gonna get straight on with it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna talk about a few things to think about just to get yourself and your home prepared for the winter. So let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is something which is pretty basic and we probably all got somewhere, and that's winter clothing and gear. So staying warm and dry in the winter is essential, isn't it? Especially in freezing weather, there could be storms, you can catch hypothermia pretty quickly. So we're going to make sure you've got all the essential winter clothing and gear that will keep you warm, dry and safe. Now we've gone from summer shorts, t-shirts and Crocs weather and we stripped that all off. Bloody hell, no one wants to see that.
I think I'm gonna throw up.
And now you want to think about warm clothing and base layers. So starting off with your base layer, your thermals, long johns, your thermal top. Now the thermal layers are a brilliant way of keeping the heat in. They help trap that warm air nice and close to your body, keep it nice and warm. Now after your thermal base layer, obviously a good pair of warm socks, keep your feet nice and warm. Good pair of boots. Make sure the boots are waterproof, good treads on them. You don't want to be slipping over in ice and snow if you're in that sort of climate. And obviously it will help keep your feet nice and warm as well. And after your base layers, your boots, your socks, a good pair of trousers and a good top, which will not only keep you dry, but obviously keep you warm. Then you're looking at perhaps a scarf. Keep your neck nice and warm. Obviously you've got massive arteries feeding the brain at the front and back. So in the winter time you want to keep them nice and warm with a scarf or a shamag. Keep your noggin nice and warm with a hat, and keep your fingers nice and warm with some gloves. Keep your extremities nice and warm, your fingers, your toes. If you're in really cold climates, obviously your nose, your ears, all that sort of stuff, that's the first to go, isn't it? That's the first to take the brunt of the cold weather. And on top of that, a good winter coat. An insulated coat if it's really cold. If it's damp, snowy conditions, a storm, get a good coat which is waterproof. Now with this clothing, obviously you don't have to break the bank, you don't have to get all the latest, brilliant, best gear. There's plenty of army surplus stuff, there's plenty of good stuff out there which is reasonably priced. And the main thing is, as long as it keeps you warm and dry and does the job, then it's good to go, isn't it? And while we're talking about your gear, obviously if you have got it already, check it over. It might have been in storage or tucked away somewhere for the last few months. So make sure it's in good order before you need it. Last thing you want to do is it's come really frosty, you're going out on the hills, you'll go and grab your coat and it's ripped, or there's holes in it, or there's some sort of mouse has made a nest in it, or whatever it is. So check your kit over. Make sure your boots are tidy. If you want to see a video about looking after your boots, there's a link there. So yeah, make sure your kit's in good order before you need it. And if there is anything extra you need, get it now before the weather turns. So that's your clothing, sorted from head to toe.
Well, that was interesting, wasn't it?
Now what about your home? You want to make sure your house is ready for the winter and colder months. You might live in an area which is not as cold as some places, but if you do live in an area where you get bitterly cold winds, snowstorms and all that, now is the time to get that house in order before the bad weather turns. So the first thing is your windows and doors. Make sure your windows and doors, A, shut properly, and where they're fixed to the walls, make sure all the seals are intact, they're in good order. Make sure there's no drafts blowing through the windows and doors, and if there is, fill them up. There's a few things you can do inside if you've got a really drafty house and the wind just blows through the windows all the time, you can put secondary glazing in. You can put really good thick curtains up. You can put gaff tape where the wind's blowing in. You can do a lot of things. Whatever you do, the main thing to do is just to stop them drafts.
Frightfully drafty, these outhouses.
The last thing you want is cold, bitter air blowing in the winter months, because you're paying obviously for heating your house, whether it's a log stove, gas, electric, and then you're letting all the bloody cold air in. Hot air out, cold air in. It's no good, isn't it? So first thing to do is go around all the openings of your house and make sure they're well sealed and they're up to task. The next thing is something which happens every year. A lot of people suffer with this, especially when the cold weather comes really fast or there's an unexpected frost, and that's burst pipes. So if you've got exposed pipes anywhere in the house where the cold can get to them, make sure they're lagged. Make sure you've got plenty of insulation around them, because there's nothing worse. I've seen it before, and plenty of times on the building trade, where pipes are burst and it makes a hell of a mess. If you've got outdoor pipes for the garden or whatever it is, make sure they're well covered up, make sure they're lagged. Or better still, if you're not going to use them during the winter, isolate them, turn them off and drain them down. Now, autumn is here. Leaves are dropping like mad. So just before the winter, before we have lots and lots of rain, snow, whatever it is, get the ladders out and clear all your gutters out. Make sure there's nothing blocking your downpipes or downspurts, whatever they call it in America, your gutters. Because if you do have heavy rainfall, heavy snowfall, snow melt, and your gutters are full, your downpipes are blocked, again, it's going to make masses of mess. It's going to overflow your gutters, run down the walls of your building, and then water ingress can happen. Now, if you've got a log burner at home, now's the time to check the flue's tidy, the fire's working in good order, and your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are working. It's no good cold weather comes if you're right, let's fire up the stove, and then you find out, oh, the seals are leaking, or the chimney needs sweeping, or the crows have started doing a nest in the chimney. So now is the time to do it before you want that fire going. Well, that fire's going well now. Right, the next thing is making sure you've got enough food and water supplies at home. Now, depending on where in the world, you know, if you are in a temperate climate like UK, we don't have huge amounts of snow. And that's not to say it doesn't happen. We've had plenty of snowstorms in the past where towns have been cut off, roads have been closed, electrics down, all that sort of stuff. But if you are in an area where you have that quite often, it's a good idea to have food and water supplies at home, just in case. Now, most of you watching this will probably already have a good supply of food and water at home. And if you're one of those people who haven't, I think it's well worth the idea of getting at least a good couple of weeks of food and water at home, especially heading into the winter months. Now, you want to be thinking about non-perishable foods that's going to last. So you've got your long life food, freeze-dried, you've got MREs, you've got tinned food, you've got rice, pasta. But the main thing is make sure you stock food that you like to eat. It's no good stocking food that you don't like, otherwise it's going to be there for years and years, isn't it? So stock food that you like, and not just food, but water. Water, drink, everything you use on a daily or weekly basis. That's the sort of supplies you want to keep at home. So when it comes to the winter, if it is a massive storm or snowfall and you can't get to the shops for whatever reason, at least you're safe in the knowledge that you've thought ahead and you've got plenty of food and supplies at home for you and your family. And just while we're talking about that, if you do stock tins at home, make sure you've got a tin opener as well. It's starting to get a bit dark, then you can still see me. So, better hurry up a bit.
Let's get on with it then.
So while we're talking about storms, there could be the risk of power outages, couldn't it? Blackouts in the winter. Ice can take down power lines, take down phone lines. Winter storms can really stop you in the tracks. So another thing to make sure you've got at home is emergency supplies. Things like your torches, your batteries, warm blankets. Now you could have backup generators, solar generators, even such things as candles and matches. The winter brings storms, doesn't it? Power outages or blackouts are very common in the winter, no matter where you live. So be prepared. Having backup systems or having supplies at home that will keep you warm, dry, fed are a good idea. Now again, with them essential supplies like your candles, your warm blankets, your emergency power systems, torches, flashlights. If you have got log burners at home or gas heaters, whatever it is, now's the time to get the fuel in. Get your wood in for your log burner. Get your gas in for your gas stoves or your heating system. Get them in now. Then you're rest assured then if something does happen in the future, at least then you're prepared, and no matter what winter storms blow your way, you can handle it. The next thing is your vehicle. Make sure your car is winter ready. Make sure the tyres are good. Make sure all the fluids are topped up in the car. Make sure you carry stuff in your car, just in case you are stuck in a snowstorm somewhere, or you're broken down and the weather's cold or wet. Make sure you got warm blankets, spare clothes. Make sure you got food, water, perhaps a way of heating water, making a hot drink or cooking your food. Making sure the fuel is always topped up in the car. Now, we've seen it time and time before, haven't we? The snow comes in, blizzards, people are still driving in it and they get stuck in that snowstorm, or they break down and the weather's really bad, and they're ill prepared, aren't they? They haven't got the blankets, the food, the hot drinks, something to keep you warm. And that's not a great state to be in, isn't it? Yes, it's only September, but now's the time to do it. Get them things in place. Get your car ready for the winter. Now, if you are living in a place where you get lots of snow, now's the time to make sure you got your tools in order. Your snow shovels, your grit, your salt, all that sort of stuff you need in the winter time to de-ice your driveway, clear the snow. Now's the time to check over your tools and make sure you got that equipment in good order, ready to go. And then the last thing,
oh, thank God for that,
is if you are in that way inclined of keeping bug-out bags, now is the time to look at your bags and do you need to change the gear? Do you need to change your sleeping bag from a 2-3 season sleeping bag to a winter sleeping bag, 4 season bag? Do you need to put more warm clothes in there and better coat? Make sure your bag is good to go. If you're keeping bug-out bags, that is, make sure your bug-out bag is good for the winter. So preparation is key. Preparation is key in anything you do, but especially in the winter. When you're tackled with them extreme weather conditions, freezing cold, wet, snow, preparation is key. So taking these steps now before this hard weather gets to us could make the difference for when winter does finally arrive. So that's it, guys. It's getting a bit dark now. I don't know if you can still see me. Yeah, that's the video. Short and sweet, I think, just like me. All about winter preparedness. Now we can go on for hours and hours about what to do exactly for the winter. And if you have got any suggestions, put them in the comments below. I'm happy to have a look at them. And if you do like the videos, and if you haven't done so already, please think about liking and subscribing. Hit this notification bell. And if you do want to see some more videos, check that one out. And that one. And I'll catch you again next time. All the best.